Welcome to CARDESIGN.ACADEMY and the continuation of the SL Coupe interior. So I have a fairly complete picture of the interior theme after doing some work in the last demo on the IP, the instrument panel, and the seating and the doors. And so I have a fairly complete interior environment. So the interior environment is dominated by this central rear occupant, which has this very VIP-like, throne-like positioning, and including a table, and then the driver has this very sort of driver-focused sport bucket seat with a very focused steering environment. And as you can see, I've done some additional work on the steering wheel to give it more detail. So the idea is that there's a central display screen, which has some touch features, and then I've incorporated this airbag pad with the three-pointed logo at the center to start to give it a bit more substance. And then I just also cut away the back of it. So the idea is that this is steer-by-wire, so there's no real steering column. And so the idea is that the steering wheel could basically retract away from the instrument panel, and the front seats could fold away, and then you would just have this single rear occupant as the sole occupant, basically this VIP with complete control of the environment. So I'm going to start to develop that further, but what I really wanted to focus on today was layering of detail. So you can see, with the steering wheel, this additional layering of detail and how it really adds a sense of, it just adds a sense of premiumness and finesse and finish. It looks very crafted. And so I'm going to show you some things today. I'm going to do some additional detailing on the seats and on the steering wheel, and we should be at a point where I'm very close to having a complete interior. So let's start with the seats. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the exterior glass and headliner, just so we have a better bird's eye view of what's going on. It's a glass headliner. So you can see very clearly the sort of bird's eye view. I have the one seat tucked away, the other seat folded out. So I'm just going to focus right now on the driver's seat. And so the idea that I have here is that the driver's seat would be more of like a carbon fiber bucket with additional padding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with duplicating the back of the seat. You can see already there's quite a bit of additional detail that you get out of that. And then what I'm going to do is start to add additional layers of detail. So you can see this is still a symmetrical object. So as I begin to break this up, it stays symmetrical. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in, just joining the. Got to be careful not to let it join at the center again. So as I add additional geometry, you can see I get this sort of split effect, so that the seat appears to be made up of various pads. So I'm going to try to bring this a bit closer together, but without joining it at the center. I'm going to bring this back a bit, up against the seat back. I'm going to go ahead and give the rear shell a bit of finesse and a sharper edge. So I'm going to do the same here. I want to break up the headrest, and I actually think I'm going to rejoin the center at the top here. So the idea is that the three-pointed star would somehow be represented in the design of the seat itself, but in a very subtle way. I'm going to move this rear shell out of the way for a minute. So as I add additional edge loops, it gains more and more precision. So you can see it just adds a lot more realism and believability to the seat design. So I'm going to do the same with the bucket. For now, I'm going to pull the outer bucket back. I think I'm actually going to turn off the tub, and I'm going to turn off the exterior, and I'm going to turn off vertical lock because I'm going to have to get underneath this thing. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a mitered corner so that now I can take this entire row and delete it. So I've created now this gap. I'm also going to get rid of some of these extra edges for now, just to make my job easier in terms of filling in those gaps. So now I'm just going to add some additional edge loops just to tighten up those corners, and then I'm going to take out the center gap here. And I can fill that in. Again, being very careful to stay away from the center. Keep it from snapping. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to add some additional edge loops here. So the bottom of the seat got lower as I began to add more control points. So I'm just compensating. So now I'm going to move the seat bucket back. So this is going to be like a carbon fiber bucket that the seat rests in here. So I'm going to have to add some additional control points. Yeah, so you can see there's a high degree of realism and detail. And so when I bring back the tub and the headliner, yeah, you can see it's the interior is really starting to take on a real crafted look. So let's do something with the rear seat. So I'm gonna turn the driver's seat off. I'm gonna turn off the instrument panel for now. I'm also gonna turn off the headliner. And let's see what we can do with the rear seat. So first thing I'm going to do is separate it out. Maybe for the time being, I'm going to just bring it up and out so I can work on it up here. I'm going to turn this one into the darker material. Actually, let's make it a gloss material so it looks like carbon. And maybe we'll do that with the driver's seat as well. So we'll make this carbon. Just trying to maintain an even relationship between the two parts. So how do we want to divide up this seat here? Well, I'm going to turn off my polygons and probably start with trying to maintain a similar concept with the padding, the sort of three-star pattern. So what I want to do now is detach the footrest area from the rest of the seat. So you can see it's quite doughy now. So I just need to go back in and add. So now I can lower this back to the original position and then just see where we're at in terms of fit. So you can see that the additional geometry has really brought some of those surfaces rearward. So I'm going to have to go in and add additional geometry to the shell surface. Either that or I can just bring those points rearward. So now when I bring in the IP, the doors, and the driver's seat, everything's becoming a lot more compelling, a lot more detailed. Those extra layers of detail really add a sense of premiumness and craftsmanship. The seats look comfortable and nice to sit in. There's a lot of primary and secondary detailing, and really starting to look like a premium luxury interior. So in the final lesson, we're just going to get into some final details, and we should have a very, very complete interior. So thanks for watching CARDESIGN.ACADEMY, and I'll catch you next time.